Honorable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, endow members of Parliament and ministers of states with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, may I respectfully invite you to turn to item number 4. Item number 4, correction of votes and proceedings. We begin from page 1 of correction of votes and proceedings. Page 1 of votes and proceedings. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Yes, Honorable Deputy Majority Whip.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, yesterday I draw your attention to leave of absence forms, and just for the record, because at the end of the day, people will say that these members didn't seek permission, but their permission form have been signed. The Chief Whip on page 7, number 12, and then page 8, 38, Mavis, Honorable Mavis Howard Thompson, just for the record.
Yes, Leader.
Speaker, yesterday, the Honorable Amakwanta was in the chamber, and unfortunately he marked as absent. Equally so, the Honorable Ajima Menu was also here yesterday. The Speaker, in respect of the Honorable Afenyo Marking, the Deputy Majority Leader, had also sought permission. He's traveled with the Speaker, the same location and same enterprise. The Honorable Dr. Ayo Friye also submitted the leave of absence, and the Honorable Enyimedu entry number 13. Speaker, I know the Honorable Kweku Kwating has also submitted, and I've transmitted it. Then Dr. Matthew Kukuprempe, also the same thing. For 41, I know the Honorable Muntaka Mohammed Mubrak is on a mission with the PAP. I don't know whether he's transmitted a leave of absence home, but I know it's there. So, the Speaker, 40, 41, 48 on page 8, then 5, 6, 12, and 13 on page 7. And as I said, for 7 and 10, Ajimamenu and Amakwanta, they were here with us yesterday. Understand the Honorable Amewu, that the Honorable Amewu has also submitted a leave of absence, and the Amidu Ishaku Chinia has also submitted a leave of absence, I think, on account of Public Accounts Committee is traveled out. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, Leader.
Speaker, just to support the leader and probably for you to direct table to take note, even the first Deputy Speaker, 45, Oseusu Joseph, we are aware that he is on official delegation at Pan-African Parliament, and as leader added 41, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak. I also see Bernard Ahiafo, who also sought permission. In fact, Mr. Speaker, maybe it's a transmission. In fact, you can see I'm coming to minute on this for purposes of referral to you, but table will have to take note. Those who sought permission are accordingly recorded as such. So these are just a few, and then at least those with permission, I see my deputy Aveji, who is on official assignment. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. But more the transmission between our offices, the table and your office is probably responsible for this delays in reporting. Thank you.
Very well. So, table, kindly take note of all those names. I think yesterday, similar issue came up and we discussed to the point that leadership will have to take a look at this leave of absence thing. So I think when Mr. Speaker comes, I think leadership will have to meet with him and discuss the way forward.
Yes. Speaker, just for the record that item 22 on page 8, Honorable Patrick Boama has also sought permission.
Very well. So table, please kindly take note of that. We now move to page 9. Yes, Honorable Member, let me hear you.
Mr. Speaker, page 8, name number 27, Kujo Robert Wisdom. I was in the chamber yesterday.
Did you sign the register?
Yes, sir.
Very well. Table, kindly take note of that. Page 9. Return to page 10. Yes, Honorable Member for Kwadaso.
Honorable Speaker, page 10, item 10 motion moved by the Honorable Second Deputy Majority Whip, Miss Lydia Serrano Hassan. It shouldn't be Mrs., it should be Miss. Thank you. I sought a permission for this to be done on her behalf. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Honorable Member for Pristia Hunivari, you just got up with the excuse that you were here yesterday, and I asked, did you sign the register? You said yes. but the register has just been shown me, and you didn't sign. This is the register. You didn't sign. I'm not saying you weren't here, but you didn't sign. This is the register. So, honorable members, I've been saying this. Once you come here, please make it a point to register. Very well. So we move to page 11. Yes, Honorable Isaac.
Mr. Speaker, my difficulty is that this issue of coming in, registering, signing, can't you have a system that captures you automatically as soon as you enter this house? You should have a system that captures you automatically as soon as you enter the house. You sit here, you should be captured. This system of signing, and so when you forget, no. So let us be more modern in this house. We should be more modern. Eh?
Honorable member.
This current
Honorable member.
This digitalized system, we are more digitalized. Digitalized is affecting everybody. Mr. Speaker, let us fine-tune this process because it's affecting everybody. Make sure that as soon as a member enters this house, you are captured electronically. Yes. So this system of coming to sign, I think we are indeed behind it. Thank you.
Honorable member, I think we are in the process. And like we are saying, you are a known figure. You are the fifth timer. Somebody may be a first timer. And we might not straight away notice him. So that is why we ask that you sign. So until we get there, the process is that you sign once you enter the chamber. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think you've made a point. But I think what I want to add is that when the honorable member stands up the next day and says that he was here, that should be enough. We cannot even question the honorable member that was not here. I get your point that he should sign. But I'm saying that the fact that he is here today, saying it on this floor that he was here, should not even be questioned. Thank you.
Honorable member, I don't side with you. I'm not challenging the integrity of any member, but somebody can just come and genuinely may say he was here yesterday, but obviously he wasn't here. So that's why I asked, did you sign? Did you sign the register? So until you get to where we are all yearning to get, please just resort yourself to the process. You have to register with the secretariat so that we get to know that you are here. Other than that, there's no. Yes. Yes, later.
Mr. Speaker, I think there's wisdom in the application of members that we should first migrate to the era of digitalization of the facilities here. We should first migrate there. And I agree with that. But to say that any statement that comes from a member should be taken as a given, I beg to disagree. Many statements have been made on the floor which have been found to be untruths. Yes, I will say that. Many statements have been made on this floor that have been found out to be untruths. So you cannot say that to the extent that the person gets up to say something, it must not be questioned. I don't know where you are deriving your strength from. But let's digitalize. That will save all of us.
Is it on the same matter?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, just wanted to add that now that the new standing orders are being drafted, we must take into consideration measures to tackle this. I'm not a member of the Standing Orders Committee, but I know they are working on the new standing orders. Attendance records keeping must be part of the new standing orders that are being drafted. I know there's a committee on e-parliament. The Honorable Bejra and Honorable Ahmad Omar, their committee is still in the process of working on this. But as the e-parliament committee is working, the standing orders committee and that committee must work together to make sure that they put a finality to this. Until that is done, the status quo still remains. We put a list here and a list in the mails room. When we adjourn, you just oppose the two, and that serves as a guide to the clerk at table to be able to make sure that everyone is captured. That, I think, Mr. Speaker, will bring finality to the match. Always talk about, I was in the chamber, I've been marked absent, and those kind of things. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, just to assure you that the Speaker and Chairman of the board and the board have taken some decisions to improve automation and digitization within the chamber, which process is ongoing. I'm aware that some vendors have submitted requests, some of it have been approved, even to change the whole system here, in order that even for purpose of voting, we can do so using the system here, which will also be responsible for marking our presence within the chamber, within an automated platform of a thumbprint. I'm aware that the board is awarding a contract in that respect. What was the problem was the earlier vendor configuring and harmonizing what exists today with a new provision which was to come. So members should be assured that before the close of this year, the board will take decisions appropriate to improve the IT infrastructure generally in the chamber and in the House. I'm also even aware that the board has given approval for, we call it a last mile, for broadband presence to increase within the presence of Parliament, so that when you are here, you can have access and ready use of your internet beyond what is provided on your mobile phone. That again, the board has given approval. I'm sure very soon that will also be deployed. I thank you.
Very well. So we now turn to page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Page number 20. Page 21. Page 22. Page 20. Yes, member for Kwadaso.
Honorable Speaker, page 22, Roman numeral IV, Mr. Aziz Jamina, Coordinator, Public Interest and Accountability Committee. So we should cancel the S. Thank you.
Yes, stable. Take note of the correction. Return to page 23. Page 24. Page 25. Page 26. page number 27, page 28, page 29, and finally page 30. Honorable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the votes and proceedings of the sixth sitting held yesterday, Wednesday, the 2nd November 2022, are adopted as the true records of proceedings. We will turn to item number 5. Item number 5, questions. And we will begin with urgent questions. Is a member for Ketu South?
Right, Honorable Speaker. I have permission to stand in to ask the question, because seeking permission to ask the question on her behalf because she's on an official assignment to Egypt. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. So let's hear you. The minister is available.
Okay.
So you may ask the question.
Thank you, Right, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for the Volta region when the relocation of the victims of the tidal waves in the Ketu South constituency will commence. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Respectfully, Honorable Volta Region Minister, you may take the to answer the questions.
Mr. Speaker, the Volta Regional Community Council and the Ketu South Municipal Assembly have been working with the relevant state institutions and agencies such as the National Disaster Management Organization and the Ghana Refugee Board to help relocate and resettle all displaced persons of tidal waves in the Ketu South municipality or constituency. The Municipal Assembly has initiated the construction of 15 two-bedroom apartments at Salakope to resettle about 150 victims of tidal waves in the municipality. The project is expected to be completed by the end of the second quarter in 2023 to accommodate the first batch of victims. Details of work done so far are as follows. 110 plots of land have been secured. Contract has been awarded. The road constructed through the lagoon to the site. Water has been extended to the site. Electricity from the national grid extended to the site. The contractor is presently on site and has started work. The Assembly will continue to source for funding with the support of the Community Council and partner with relevant state institutions to settle all the victims displaced by tidal waves in the municipality. So far, with the support of the Ghana Red Cross, we have also erected 10 tents that would accommodate 20 tents, actually, Mr. Speaker, that would accommodate about 150 to 200 of the displaced persons. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honourable Member, any supplementary question?
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, may I know from the Minister where the funding will be sourced from? Because in his statement, he said that the contractor was on site and that funding will be sourced. Didn't they get the funding before the award of the contract?
Minister, did you get the question? Very well.
Mr. Speaker, the funding, we managed to secure some funding through the lobbying of the Municipal Assembly, and with our good selves, we secured about 2 million cedis to start the first phase of the resettlement program. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Yes, Honorable Member for Ho West.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister for our region, Volta Regional Minister, said they have secured 2 million cedis and has given assurance to this House that the second quarter of next year, the project will be completed. We are in the last quarter of 2021 and second quarter 2022, and end of second quarter 2023, about 110 houses will be completed. Mr. Speaker, I want Mr. Minister to assure this House that at the end of second quarter next year, we will go and commission those houses. He should assure us, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to assure the honourable member that by the end of the first quarter of next year, we would have completed 15 number. We said 15 number. With the 110 is of the land that we've acquired, the 110 building plots. But the first phase is 15 number 2-unit bedroom apartments. And that, Mr. Speaker, the project was delayed because of the heavy rains and the lagoons were filled up. So that delayed the work of the contractor. But the contractor is expected to complete the job by the end of the first quarter of 2023. And I want to assure honourable members that it will be done.
Very well. Let me give the opportunity to the Volta Regional MP. So
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, looking at the affected number of people, don't you think that the number of houses that they planned to construct is woefully inadequate?
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I admit that the first phase will not be able to accommodate all the displaced victims, because we had about 1,096 displaced individuals, made up of 227 adult males, 287 adult females. So, with the tents that have been erected and the first phase of the project, we expect that we'll be able to resettle about 300 to 400 of the 1,000. And we are working with other government agencies to come and help us to raise funds to be able to resettle the rest of the displaced persons. So this is just the first phase. The first phase we've completed the erection of the 20 tents that can take 150 to 200, and we're going to do the 15 number 2-bedroom apartments to also take care of some, and we'll still have some, but fortunately, all the displaced people have either settled with the family members or they've gone back to their houses, to the extent that even the tents erected have not been fully occupied as of now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, let me come to Ho Central.
Mr. Speaker, the minister has told us that he has 2 million Ghana cedis for the phase. What is the cost per the housing unit that he intends to construct?
Good. Minister, do you have the figures? If you don't have, Minister, do you have the figures?
Mr. Speaker, I've been advised that the 2 million cities can complete the 15 two-bedroom units. That's the assurance I've received from the engineers of the K2 South Municipal Assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Let me come to, is it Pando? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The minister in his answer said he was raising funds. I want to find out if government has also contributed any funds to the project. Thank you.
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I can say on authority that we've managed to get some government agencies through the Ministry of Works and Housing and other relevant ministries to get the government agency to support the resettlement of the victims. And we are still in the process of getting more to come on board. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Reverend. Achampo, I'm not going to call you. Yes, Reverend.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may I know from the Honorable Volta Regional Minister, you did say that Red Cross has mounted 20 tents meant for 120 people. This means that the tents are the 10-man tents. I know what a 10-man tent is. Because if it is 20, when we're talking about 120 people, then it means it's a 10-man tent. And you did also say that even the tents are empty. So may I know from you how the tents are mounted, what they have put in the tents that people are refusing to occupy? And also, Mr. Speaker, I want to know from you, you mentioned Red Cross. What about NADMO, the National Disaster Management Organization? What about NADMO? No mention of NADMO.
Very well. So, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I mentioned, as the Honorable Member said, that temporary structures have been erected with the support of the Red Cross at Agaveji. Those are 20 tents. And we've managed to extend water to the tents. We've managed to provide toilet facilities. And what we yet to do is to connect electricity from the national grid to the tents. But we are in the process of doing that as well. But Mr. Speaker, it is important to recognize that resettlement is not an easy thing. Sometimes you get the facilities for the people, but they are comfortable with where they have lived all their lives. So moving them from wherever they are to another place is quite a difficult task. And we're using the appropriate government department with the assembly members to educate the people to relocate. They always go back when the tides go down. When they have high tides and they are displaced, they go and live with family members. And as soon as the tide recedes, they're more comfortable going back to their homes. So a lot of work needs to be done to convince them to relocate. But where we have for them now is on a higher ground. And we believe that when they move there, any future tidal wave troubles will not get to that high level. Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful.
I'll give you the last slot. So let's hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to draw the Volta Regional Minister's attention to one thing. When he came to Qatar to sympathize with the tidal wave victims, he never mentioned only Katu South victims for support. I remember he also mentioned people of Kokpogbo, Puvama, and Atitati. And I'm surprised he's only paying attention towards only Katu South people. I'd like to know from him what he has for the people of Kokpogbo, Puvama, and Atitati. Thank you very much.
Minister, did you get the question? Very well.
Mr. Speaker, the question was quite specific from Honorable Member for K2 South. She asked the question in relation to what we're doing to resettle on K2 South. That's why my answer didn't include Keta and the Angrogan districts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Let him give opportunity to one Ashanti MP, who incidentally is the Deputy Minister for Local Government. Yes, Minister, let's hear you.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to find out from the Honourable Minister for Volta region, whether the effect, are you able to tell when the effect of the tidal wave on the good people of K2 South began? Are you able to tell, give an idea when the effect of that tidal wave on the good people of K2 South began? Thank you. Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, this has been an old, age-long problem that we have had, and we've been trying to deal with it all these years, and we'll continue to deal with it as a country. It's been an age-long challenge that we have faced as a country, and I believe that we'll solve it together. Thank you.
Lastly, the Minority Deputy Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the Honourable Minister for the Volta region that, Mr. Speaker, now I'm asking. Mr. Speaker, when the 2022 budget was presented to this House, as one of the 5 strong points or concerns raised by the minority caucus, one of them, the Minister for Finance came to this House and did a modification to the budget by saying that an amount of 10 million Ghana cedis was provided in support of the tidal waves. Now the Minister is here saying that it is rather the District Assembly that has been able to secure only 2 million cedis. What happened to the 10 million Ghana cedis that was budgeted for in the 2022 budget?
Yes. Minister, did you get the question? Okay, Honourable Member, may you repeat the question?
Mr. Speaker, this is just a simple question. In the 2022 budget, the budget was modified, an amount of 10 million Ghana cedis was allocated for the tidal waves when the Honourable Member for K2 South, Honourable Jifa Gomeshi, raised concerns and it was factored in. And the agency of that, the Minister for Finance came to this House with a modification, an amount of 10 million Ghana cedis in the 2022 budget. So this is a project that has been budgeted for. And I wonder why the Honourable Minister is now saying that it is rather the District Assembly. So may he give us an answer what has happened to the 10 million Ghana cedis allocated for the tidal waves.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm aware that some money, I don't know whether, I can't remember whether 5 or 10 million was in the budget for feasibility studies. Feasibility studies towards the tidal wave, not for the construction. And Mr. Speaker, those amounts are not released to coordinating councils. So that is what, as far as I remember, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Very well. Honorable leader, no, you have one slot. No.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, is the Honorable Minister for Volta Region telling this House that the 10 million Ghana cedis allocated for the tidal waves has been used for feasibility studies on the project? Is that what he's telling us?
No, but honorable member, that was what that money was assigned for that particular purpose. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, please let members refresh their memories. What you did, what approval did you give? What you did was in respect of the conduct of feasibility studies. You have already approved of it. So, Mr. Speaker, this question that is bringing really. Have you forgotten the approval that you yourself gave in this house? So the minister has nothing to do with it.
Well. Honorable Minister, we thank you very much for attending upon the House to answer an urgent question. We are grateful to you, and you are hereby discharged. Do we have Honorable Minister responsible for environment?
Mr. Speaker, we're trying to establish contact with the minister. The Honorable Minister for Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, we know one of us, a very diligent member of the House. Unfortunately, we've not been able to establish contact. No. I don't know what is happening. So, Mr. Speaker, if we can stand those two questions down and do other matters, I guess by the time we finish, he might be here, and we can relocate and go and deal with the questions. Questions number 1316 and 1317. So let's stand them down for the time being.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we have a very short meeting, and we have a very tight workload ahead of us. Even though, in difference to the chair and the Honorable Majority Leader, we may not have too much problem with the Honorable Minister for Environment, but we just want to send a note of caution that ministers must put a second eye on the workload that is ahead of Parliament. Very soon they will be bringing their budget, and we have to take this pre-budget period to work on all the outstanding questions that they have. So, leader of government business, tomorrow I know you'll be presenting a business statement, but yesterday there was an excuse, today there's an excuse. From next week, ministers must take the work of this House very serious. As for the Minister for Environment, I know he's always here with us. And that's why today we are accommodating him. But we are not going to entertain this absentee in this House from next week going. opportunity.
So, leader, indication.
Mr. Speaker, I think to be fair, the Honorable Dr. Kokwe Free is the most diligent members of Parliament. And again, one of the most responsible ministers. I just informed that, unfortunately, I'm not able to establish contact with him. And that is why I'm saying that let's stand the questions down. If he gets the message and is able to come here, Mr. Speaker, my attention has just been drawn to the fact that he's outside the country now, that there's this international conference on climate change. And Speaker, he informed me, and the Speaker, he informed me last week, and the communication, I guess it explains why the communication to him has not been responded to. And I'm saying that for the records, he's one of the most responsible ministers. Speaker, so we can stand the questions down and reprogram them for next week. Even though we finished with the business statement this morning, we can repackage and reprogram them for next week. Maybe next week, Thursday. No. So, Mr. Speaker, we can now enter public business and then deal with the others.
Are we laying the papers? We can do that. Yes. Honourable members, let me invite you to page 2, item number 8, presentation of papers. That is at the commencement of public business. So we'll begin with 8A, Honourable Minister for Education.
Mr. Speaker, if I may seek your indulgence, to allow the minister responsible for chieftaincy to present these papers on behalf of the listed ministers. So for 8A, 8B, and 8C.
Yes, we will begin with 8A1.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ministry of Education for the year 2020.
Honourable members, the statement has been duly presented. It will refer to the Committee for Education, Committee on Education for consideration and report. 8AI.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Koforidua Technical University for the year 2020.
Honourable members, the statement has been duly presented. It will refer to the Committee on Education for consideration and report. AIII.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the University of Health and Allied Science for the year 2020.
Honourable members, the statement has been duly presented. It will refer to the Committee on Education for consideration and report. We turn to IV.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Takoradi Technical University for the year 2020.
Honorable members, the statement has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Education for consideration and report. We move to V.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the University of Ghana for the year 2020.
Honorable members, the statement has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Education for consideration and report. We move to 8B by the Minister for Transport. Honorable Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, you may do as the honors.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ministry of Transport for the year 2020.
Honorable members, the statement has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Rules and Transport for consideration and report. We turn to 8BII.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority for the year 2020.
Honorable members, the statement has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Roads and Transport for consideration and report. We turn to 8C by the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation. Honorable Minister, you may continue to do as the honors.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission for the year 2020.
Honorable members, the statement has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Environment, Science and Technology for consideration and report. We turn to 8CII.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research for the year 2020.
Honorable members, the statement has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Environment, Science and Technology for consideration and report. Yes, Leader.
The Speaker, just to appeal that for 8C Roman number 1, if we may add the leadership of the Committee on Mines and Energy. Committee on Mines and Energy, just for 8C1.
Well.
Atomic Energy Commission.
Honorable members, the referral of CACI, the one of atomic energy, we are asking that the leadership of mines and energy be joined to the Committee on Science, Environment and Technology to look into this particular referral and report to the House. Yes, Leader.
The Speaker, we've made these referrals, but to point out that these Audit Committee reports are supposed to be brought to this House by the various ministers. The Speaker, as you do know, we are supposed to really accompany the Auditor General's report that goes to the ministries, and the minister interrogating the report would have his own comments. Those comments are supposed to come to us. Mr. Speaker, so these cover the year, all of them, they cover the year 2020. In reality, we are supposed to be dealing with the year 2021, the audit reports. So just to urge that the ministers facilitate the transmission of these audit committee reports to the House expeditiously, and that we are able to deal timelessly with such reports, so we don't reduce them to mere post-mortem exercises. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
That is on the spot. Is this true? So are we taking motion 9?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I believe we can take item number 9.
Very well. So, honorable members, may I invite you to page 3, item listed 9. I guess the chairman of the committee is not around, so the vice chairman of the committee may do the motion on behalf of the chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move the motion number 9 of page 3 of today's order paper. Mr. Chairman, I move that this Honorable House adopts the report on the Committee on Employment, Social Welfare and State Enterprises on the audited account of Tema Development Company Limited for the years 2019 and 2020 financial years. And in so moving, Mr. Speaker, I ask that the Hazard Department captures the report as read in its entirety. Mr. Speaker, at paragraph 17 of the report, the account provision, Mr. Speaker, is stated that the company exhibited strong profitability during the period with an average of 75% gross earnings and net earnings, Mr. Speaker, for 2019 and 2020 was around 35% to 43%. Mr. Speaker, TDC has shown great progress and on liquidity and efficiency at paragraph 18, it is stated that the company maintained enough short-term assets to meet short-term liabilities, indicating that TDC is able to meet its short-term obligations 2 to 3 times as they fall due. TDC has a going concern, Mr. Speaker, it is assessed that TDC has strong prospects to survive for the foreseeable future. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommends that this House adopts the report of the committee. Respectfully submitted, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you very much. Let me invite the ranking to second the motion. Yes, Honorable Dr. Kwabradonko.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion so ably moved by the Vice Chairman of the committee on behalf of the committee. And in seconding the motion, Mr. Speaker, I will want to dwell on an issue that I believe this House should take note and find a way of cleaning up. Mr. Speaker, TDC Development Company Limited is happens to be one of those corporations converted into a limited liability company. And there is a process with a limited liability company. The objects of the company, the articles of incorporation, etc., they go with the conversion. And yet, if you look at TDC, they still derive their mission, so to say, from LI 469 and LI 1468. Legislative instruments go to underpin a parent act. So having converted from a corporation to a company, what the two allies captured when it was a corporation ought to have been transferred or modified in one way or the other into the objects of the company at the Registrar General or the articles of incorporation. And so we still have a company registered as a limited liability company, but still depending on an ally that underpins a parent act which is no longer operational. So that is one of the issues arising out of these conversions that I believe the appropriate ministries and this House must clean up to bring consistency. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I also want to draw the attention of the House to the question of dividends. The state sets up businesses. If you go through the 7-year development plan, some of the objectives of the 7-year development plan included the state setting them up initially, and when these companies stand on their feet, the state privatizing them or transferring them to indigenous Ghanaian interests. It was one of the objectives of the 7-year development plan. But in setting this up, some are set up as commercial organizations with a profit motive. Those that are set up with a commercial bias are expected to pay dividends to the shareholder that happens to be the Ghanaian state. TDC happens to be one of the very well-run organizations, state-owned enterprises we have in this country, and I'm proud of the good work the management has done. However, TDC, as profitable as it is, has not paid dividend to the Ghanaian state. Companies pay dividends unless the shareholder decides to reinvest. And if the shareholder decides to reinvest in the company, there should be a resolution by the shareholder. This has not happened. And I believe the minister responsible for state enterprises and this House should take a cue and ensure that companies, particularly when the nation state is in such dire needs, companies that are profitable and have huge cash mountains, as we say in finance, pay appropriate dividend to the Ghanaian state. This, Mr. Speaker, your committee has noted with great concern on page 6, paragraph 25, and again in our conclusion. But, Mr. Speaker, there is the question of the cash mountain. Mr. Speaker, when you have huge sums of money sitting in bank accounts, Mr. Speaker, in normal business, that is not an efficient way of using cash. It is therefore not surprising that your committee raised this issue, and we believe the management of TDC Limited should take due cognizance of this, and can even invest in short-term securities, because their explanation is that they need the cash reserves available so that should some property become available, they will not be found wanting when they want to buy the property. But having these huge cash reserves, earning very little in bank interest, it's not the most efficient use of using the state resources. Mr. Speaker, I will also want to praise or applaud the management of TDC. In your report, paragraph 22 and 23, TDC as a going concern is assured. Looking at the financials that we examine, it has strong financials, and we are happy to see a state-owned company with strong financials. Mr. Speaker, I want to end by saying our committee only looked at the financials. We limited our authority to the audited financials. In terms of operations and policy, I believe the appropriate committee will look at policy. But, Mr. Speaker, I will want to state that TDC is well run, but there can be further improvement, particularly in the management of cash reserves and also the urgent need to pay dividends to the shareholder who happens to be the nation state of Ghana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, let me come to you, Manson Kwanta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this motion on Tema Development Corporation. Mr. Speaker, looking at the accounts and performance of Tema Development Corporation, it shows the corporation to be one of the outstanding in terms of its performance in dealing with its resources. If I may look at its background and make my case, paragraph 11 of the report states, among other things, the objective of the corporation to acquire land both in and outside Ghana for real estate development and management, planning, development and construction of towns and cities in and outside Ghana, development and management of commercial and industrial areas, and consolidated services, to make these few observations. Mr. Speaker, Tema Development Corporation shows that it has the capacity to make profits. And when you look at the revenue as at paragraph 11 of paragraph 14, it shows that over the years, TDC has been making good revenues, where its revenue were increased. At the same time, its liquidity is very dynamic and very efficient. They are making good use of their current assets and current abilities, which shows that the corporation is efficiently managing its working capital that will sustain its operations for a good period of time. It has also good solvency position because the company is not indebted to anybody. They don't have any debt overburden, and therefore the company is of itself to carry on its activity and be in good shape, and therefore its going concern is also assured. However, one area that is very important, linking it to their objective, is the huge accumulation of cash, as observed by the ranking. Tema Development Corporation is having a very big amount of money standing in its cash account. But if you look at its objectives, they have to make sure that they acquire land and develop cities and towns in and outside Ghana. On that note, the performance of Tema Development Corporation will not be complete when they are sluggish in terms of making good use of their cash resources. It means that they have to be efficient enough, effective enough in turning around its cash resources. TDC can make good use by establishing other hotels, residential areas, cities that will earn them more
and they can also pay more to government in terms of dividends and taxes. So if there are struggles in making use of these financial resources, that means that management, in this case, are not making a sign or signs to show how done they are to turn things around and diversify their operations in other areas. It shouldn't be that they limit themselves to only Tema, but they should also look at other areas. Mr. Speaker, ending this note, I may want to urge the House that even though TDC is doing well, we shouldn't pamper them with this limited area, but they should go ahead and then diversify their operations, get to other areas. Even if they have to go to outside Ghana, they should diversify and then extend their tentacles and do more for Greater Ghana, so that Ghana will also see that we have a star. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity given me to contribute to this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Yes, let me come to Sauda.
Speaker, thank you for the chance to add my voice regarding the motion on the floor for the adoption of the report in question. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, may I draw the attention of the committee leadership to some corrections. I have discovered that the information contained in paragraphs 9 to paragraph 12 were taken from the website of the entity TDC. And so line 3 after land, it should be uses, not cases. So that it reads about 63 square miles of public land for various land uses, not for various land cases. Then also in paragraph 10, yes, but this, okay. In paragraph 10, TDC was given a 25-year lease term. Mr. Speaker, statutorily, no entity can have more than a 99-year leasehold. So that information is inaccurate. It's stated on their website like that, but as a house of record, we have enacted a law to say that no interest in land can be held for more than 99 years, even for indigenous people. So we need to amend that information. Now, Mr. Speaker, it's interesting that yesterday this matter cropped up in respect of GEHOC. And it's also come up in respect of TDC. The committee noted correctly that in 2017, TDC was converted into a limited liability company. But I was hoping they would have told us the process, because the process of the conversion is very important. It appears that even though it's on paper that they've been converted, every other document relating to TDC still appears to be a corporation soul. So it's important that we, like the ranking member intimated, it's important we put our house in order in respect of this matter. Now, I also find it very interesting that as part of the mandate of TDC, they are to acquire land outside of the country and build real estate. And so I was hoping the committee will interrogate whether indeed TDC owns some property outside of the country and whether or not those landed property have houses and estates in the name of TDC. Mr. Speaker, may I further state that the contributor from my brother from, I've forgotten his constituency, yes, Manso, is sought to praise TDC pursuant to the information in paragraph 11. But I am worried. TDC is able to pile up money in excess of 163 million Ghana cedis. And yet we have people in Tema looking for low-cost accommodation to occupy. Meanwhile, your mandate is to acquire or put up residential accommodation for workers. So why do you pile up money and renege on your mandate, and people going around looking for simple accommodation to put their head. So I want to urge TDC that the committee report indicates clearly that they have a very comfortable bank balance. They should, as a matter of urgency, apply those funds, putting up low-cost housing facilities for workers in and around Tema and Ashama. In any case, that is their mandate. And I'm also interested in the fact that apart from their core mandate, they are also supposed to engage in planning, development, and construction of towns. Tema, the information now is that Tema has lost its beauty and shine as arguably the most planned city in addition to Akosombo in this country. What has happened to that aspect of their mandate in maintaining the planned nature of Tema? Today, structures spring up anywhere within the municipality of Tema. So they should not only be interested in working and making profits, but the core mandate of making sure that the plan, the physical nature and plan of things intact. That is what brings the ambience of the industrial city. Mr. Speaker, may I conclude by saying that TDC indeed are doing well, but we want them to keep helping the country in terms of the provision of other facilities, including assistance to the Ministry of Health during this critical era of managing the COVID-19 crisis. They should be able to support. And I also think that I didn't see any information on their corporate social responsibility. I don't know how much budget they've devoted to that. Because, Mr. Speaker, I am not the member for Tema West, but I have a few constituents who are residents of Tema West, and I hear that the Tema General Hospital is not in the best of shapes.
That's true.
And TDC being the parent company that manages Tema as a city, the General Hospital should be one of the focal landmark structures that they should pay attention to and assist in terms of extending financial assistance, so that the hospital can play its proper role within the Tema Ashama enclave. Mr. Speaker, with these words, I urge the House to adopt the report as presented. I thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, let me come to leadership. Yes. Hold on. You are a member for Tema East. Let me hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the motion before us. And mine is just to add to what the Honorable Member for South Dai mentioned, relating to TDC's mandate in supporting corporate social responsibility or being corporately responsible in the Tema enclave. Mr. Chairman, and that, Mr. Speaker, that sits well in the paragraph 11, item V, the consultancy services. Within the Tema enclave, we have a lot of development issues going on, and we expect that the capacity that TDC has would reflect in the projects that we see both under education, health, with a special mention to the Tema General Hospital. What we are seeing in Tema General Hospital is an haphazard planning of the hospital, and I think that the call by the Honorable Member is in place, except to add that with the conversion of TDC into a company, we cannot hold TDC as wholly accountable for the management of the city of Tema. As it is in our laws, it is the district assembly or the metropolitan assembly that has political and administrative jurisdiction or oversight in Tema. I say this because now that TDC is a company, what we expect is TDC must advance its core business as enshrined in its new legislation to see administration to the relevant authority, being the Metro Assembly. Again, key responsibilities of Tema Development Corporation, including maintenance of street lights, some road works and drainage and sewer maintenance. These responsibilities have shifted to the Metropolitan Assembly. Howbeit, the funds that must follow these responsibilities are not moving because TDC still receives ground rent, which must support the city administration and must also help in maintaining the sewer and other utility services in Tema. If you just oppose this with the performance of TDC, then we can say that they are earning from the old township or old Tema city, yet they are not contributing to the maintenance of the city. And I want to put this on record to say that once they are a company, they ought to function as a company, go to where they can compete and leave city administration and the resources that are inuring to them for city administration to the Metropolitan Assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well. So, leader, let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I must commend your committee for employment and social welfare for embarking upon this good job. Before then, state enterprises were sleeping. Most of them were sleeping on their jobs. And it was sending the erroneous impression as if the state itself cannot enter into any business and make profits. But ever since the Honorable Baswa and Honorable Kobna Donko became the leaders of this committee, they've given the state enterprises companies a good run for their cash. And the Speaker, going through the report before us, it tells you that the committee did a very diligent job. Yet still, there's much to be done. The committee has given us the establishment date of TDC and the conversion date of TDC. They've gone into the financials of TDC. And Mr. Speaker, they've done the revenue analysis, profitability and liquidity, liquidity and efficiency, solvency, going concern, and everything is in the positive. However, Mr. Speaker, on page 6, their observation, the committee observed, and with specific reference to paragraph 24, observed that since 2018, the company had accumulated huge cash reserves. Mr. Speaker, if you come back to page 3, paragraph 11, in 2017, TDC was converted into a limited liability company. The good job that I was expecting the committee to do was to tell us what were the financials prior to 2017. If we can get the financials of 2015, 2016, 2017, what were the cash balances of 2015, 2016, 2017? Then you just oppose that one with the 2018, 2019, and 2020. Then that we can make a meaningful conclusion from the conversion. When we converted TDC into a limited liability in 2017, they are accumulating cash balances. When prior to the conversion, what were the cash balances? So, Honorable Ranking Member and Vice Chairman, the committee need to do this house a very good job. Go back into the financials, and we can make TDC as a case study. So in future, if a limited liability company is going to be converted, we can say that when we converted TDC from a public operation into a limited liability company, these were the advantages. But until now, Mr. Speaker, we can't make a meaningful conclusion from this accumulation of huge cash balances because we don't know the past prior to the conversion. Then secondly, Mr. Speaker, I don't know the kind of personalities who are heading TDC. If you look at the mandate that was given to them, the mandate was not to make TDC like a bank. If the appointing authority wanted to make TDC like a bank, they would have appointed them to go and be heading National Investment Bank or Ghana Commercial Bank. TDC is a company with a mandate to develop real estate. Mr. Speaker, what is the value of accumulating cash balance in bank? And what are the rate of interest, rate of returns that will be accruing to the investment that has been done? Mr. Speaker, do you know the value? You are in the best position, Mr. Speaker, to tell us as a surveyor who know the role of land and landed property. Then you are given the opportunity to develop real estate and you are giving cash. Mr. Speaker, do you think with a caliber personality like you, with your skills, you go and put this cash balance in the bank and be writing good figures on paper that solvency I'm good, capital profitability I'm good, this I'm good. Good for where? Your mandate is to build houses. If you are not building the houses, it means you are not efficient on the job. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, this House must recommend, and the committee as part of your recommendation must be included, the 75 million cedis, Ghana cedis, that TDC has in the bank, Mr. Speaker, that must be used on the mandate that was given to them. Yes, I'm being corrected. That is 163 million Ghana cedis. The Minister for Western Housing, the Honorable Atachia, the former minister those days, and the current Minister for Western Housing, they've been complaining that government should support them to be able to build houses for Ghanaian workers to reside in. Not knowing a company within this enclave has about 163 million. What was the value in dollars those days? Mr. Speaker, what is the value today? So clearly, we are losing focus. And this is the case, you are not even giving dividends. So it's like management, we have converted TDC into a limited liability company, and management is enjoying. And the shareholders, they are not giving dividends. And the Ghanaian state is not getting anything. And the money that TDC has, as accrued to TDC, is even losing in value. Within these 6 months, Mr. Speaker, what was the cost of a bag of cement? And what is the cost? What is the value today? What was the cost of an iron rod? And what is the value today? So clearly, we must not commend TDC that because they've accumulated 163 million Ghana cedis in the bank, they've done well. And clearly, TDC must not allow that money, the Speaker, to be in the bank. I believe after this, the committee, as I've already said, together with the Committee for Western Housing, will do a joint work and will be able to put TDC in the right path. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the committee and commend TDC as well. That notwithstanding, they must convert the money into a real estate. We need further TDC companies in the other regions. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you very much. Majority leadership.
initially gave information that the minister responsible for environment, science, technology, and innovation had traveled outside the country. We called, we were not getting through to him. So I thought that was a confirmation that he had traveled outside the country. And indeed, he indicated to me last week, Thursday, that I'll be traveling out. Mr. Speaker, he's just come to inform me that he couldn't travel, and that rather he'll be out. What then it means is that we cannot do the reprogramming next week. Fortunately, he tells us that he's ready to answer the questions. So if the members of parliament who have filed the questions are here, or even if they are not here, if we could have other people standing in to ask the questions that exist here in the order paper in respect of the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. Let the questions be asked, and the Minister is ready to respond to them.
Very well. So before we go back to question 6, then I'll have to put the question on the motion 9 that we've just debated. So, honorable members, the motion that we just debated, which is listed motion number 9, all those in favor of the motion say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is hereby adopted. Now, Honorable Minister responsible for Science, Environment and Technology, may you take your rightful seat. Is Honorable Member for Kita, are you around? Yes. So, question number 1316. The Minister is available. So the floor is yours. You may ask the Minister your question.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation whether proper environmental impact assessment was conducted before a license issued to Kensington Industry Limited of India.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in response to the question posed by the Honorable Kwame Tizoli Gakwe, I wish to submit as follows. The Environment Protection Agency issues an environmental permit and certificates after the Minister responsible for mines has granted a mining license or lease to a mineral rights holder, Kensington Industries Limited, now designated 7 Sea Salt Limited. Indeed, since 2017, it's called 7 Seas Salt Limited, has 2 separate projects registered with the Environmental Protection Agency. The first is located in Adina, with a proposed expansion to the Adefianu, Agavedi, Blekusu areas. The Adina project has satisfied the permitting requirements of the EPA regulations of 1999, LI 1653, which includes the submission of an environmental impact assessment dated 14th December 2012, after conducting an environmental impact assessment. An environmental permit was therefore first issued on the 10th of September 2014, which expired on 9th of March 2016. The company submitted the environmental management plan for the Adina concession on the 15th of April 2016. and an environmental certificate was subsequently issued on the 11th of January 2019. The certificate is valid for a period of 3 years. Mr. Speaker, with regards to the Adafianu and Agavedi Brekusu expansion project, the company initially submitted a separate environmental impact statement, that's EIS, on the 7th of July 2016. The process was halted following some disruptions at the company's site in June of that 2017 by some community members. The company, however, resubmitted its applications for the now Adafianu and Agavedi Brekusu project on the 9th of June 2021. An EIS of the project was submitted on the 25th of November 2021. The EPA subsequently issued public notification of the EIS of the proposed Adafianu and Agavedi Brekusu project in the foreign print media. 1. Ghanaian Times of 14th October 2021, 18th October 2021, and 19th January 2022, and 20th of January 2022. 2. Daily Graphic of 14th October 2021, 18th October 2021, 18th January 2022, and 20th January 2022. Mr. Speaker, the EIS is currently under review and an environmental permit has not been issued yet. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Member, any further questions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Minister. My supplementary question was, is there any monitoring system put in place to always check on the activities of existing industry in Adafianu? Because I'm basing this question on recently you see a lot of lives have been perished based on or advancement of their work. So I want to know from EPA whether you have a system that monitors. Though you do the impact assessment, do you do any follow-up to ensure that they don't advance with their work?
Yes, Minister.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I didn't hear a part of that. I believe that this place is hypoequic, but from what I heard and what I can infer, that even though the permit has not been issued, have I made sure that they've not continued with activities there? Is that right? Well, Mr. Speaker, I have not had any reports to that. Thank you.
Very well. Yes, Honorable Member for Vita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to find out from the Minister whether in terms of environmental impact assessment, does it include the livelihood of the people in that community? Because as this company have taken over the Kita Lagoon, the livelihood of the people depends on the lagoon is no more. Is there any way during your impact assessment you actually factor in livelihood in terms of fishing activity of the people?
Yes, Minister.
Yes, indeed so, Mr. Speaker. Like I've said, it's under evaluation, and one of the parameters is what he has flagged. So when eventually the EPA and the board, they do all this, but if there is any dissonance or any objection in that direction, it will finally come to my attention. So I assure him that, yes, this is one of the key parameters that is taken into account in this assessment. But even in the event that they have not taken that into account, it will finally come to my attention. Thank you.
Your last one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to find out from the Minister, in terms of the environmental impact assessment, does it include local content issues? Because if the industries are set up, expatriates come and do the work, and then the indigenous are not benefiting from the
program? Is it part of the impact assessment? Is it part?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, on this question, I will be a bit careful. But using all the experience that I can master, I don't think this thing is within my domain. But I, as a nursing minister, I should be, cognizant of that fact. So I will contact the EPA and then ascertain whether they have taken into cognizance that. But this question that is fine, the last one, is within the remit of the either Trade and Industry Ministry or some other body. Certainly not with Mercy. Thank you.
Very well. Written 1317. Question 1317. The question stands in the name of a member for Kumbugu, Honorable Dr. Hamza Adams. Yes, Honorable, you have the floor now.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to ask my question. I rise to ask the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation what measures are being put in place to stop the exodus of scientists from research institutions in the country.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamza Adam, member for Kumbugu, for bringing this question, which I believe should be of interest to all Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, before I go to the substantive response, let me say that and elaborate on some challenges which are faced by scientists working at various research institutes of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Mr. Speaker, 4 key areas, among others. In fact, the research scientists at CSIR, unlike their counterpart lecturers in the public universities, have comparatively lower remuneration in terms of salaries and allowances. 2, they are contending with obsolete laboratory equipment and inadequate modern, for example, ICT tools to support research and development. R&D activities in the research institutes tend to demotivate scientists in the execution of their duties. Third is about budgetary allocation for research and development activities. In fact, the persistent insufficient GOG budgetary allocation to support research and development activities is retarding the scientific advancement in this country. Currently, most R&D activities nationwide are being supported by foreign donors, and the consequences are that they tend to set the research agenda against the local R&D priorities. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, if I may add, it may even have some security implications, but I'll come to that maybe on a different platform. And finally, young scientists are denied training in emerging areas such as nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, and others due to lack of scholarships and fellowship to pursue further training. With this as a background, Mr. Speaker, the following measures have been proposed to curb the exodus of the scientists from the research institutes under CSI. 1, comparable conditions of service with lecturers in the public universities are being pursued to reduce the exodus of these scientists into the universities. Scientists at the research institutes should have the opportunity to do research and development activities full-time and also lecture on part-time basis. 2, efforts are being made by the central government to support a rigorous retooling of all the R&D laboratories by procuring modern ICT tools for sciences. It is expected that scientists will also be motivated when they have the necessary and modern tools to work with to achieve their set targets and come out with technologies and or products. Government is doing everything possible to implement the African Union Executive Council's declaration to vote 1% of GDP to support research and development activities in the member countries. We believe that the implementation of this policy should be able to turn things around for Ghana to rely heavily on ST and I for job and wealth creation. Government indeed has passed the National Research Fund Bill in 2019 to support national research in tertiary and research institutions. The implementation of this bill will provide scientists with a reliable source of funding for their research work. And finally, discussions are ongoing for research institutions to be given adequate slots on government scholarship for training research scientists. And engagements are also ongoing with embassies, high commissions, and other funding agencies to attract fellowship for research projects. Thank you very much.
Dr. Hamza, any supplementary question?
All right. Thank you very much, Minister, for your detailed response. I want to know from the Minister, he has indicated in his submission that they are taking steps to improve the conditions of scientists, just like lecturers. Some of the scientists who leave the research institutes, they go to the universities because they comparatively feel that the lectures are better in better conditions. And the Minister has actually confirmed that in his submission. I want to know from the Minister what specific steps he intends to take to improve the conditions of the scientists to be comparable to that of their colleagues, lecturers.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, specific steps.
Mr. Speaker, there are several things that MESTI is doing, and I must qualify the first response in the sense that in certain specific areas, scientists in the CSIR, certain institutes are relatively okay. It is not an omnibus step, but because we're talking about policy, the overall trend is that the universities, scientists domiciled in the universities are better off in the other, compared to the other agencies. However, one of the reasons why I'm late is because I came from a launch of a policy document, that intellectual property rights policy, with regard to the CSIR, and they intend to register, review their policies and do IP registry with the National Registry. And in that policy, arrangement, financial arrangement, which will even accrue benefits to individuals who discover something or make significant contributions, which will bring in economic benefits. But these are early days yet. So, Mr. Speaker, we are taking steps to ameliorate that condition. And also, of course, in government, I do advocacy so that there's harmonization between all public agencies. But that has not yielded results yet. So I'll pursue it. Thank you.
Very well.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity again. I think when scientists heard about the 1% of GDP support to scientists, I mean, it was a good news to scientists. But it appears that money has since not been made available. In other words, researchers or lecturers haven't started benefiting from that. And the Minister did explained that in his response that it is one of the steps that will serve as a panacea to the challenges we have with respect to the funding of research in Ghana. I want to know from the minister what is delaying the implementation of that 1% GDP to support science and development.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. President, that is true. What he's saying is true.
I'm not Mr. President.
Mr. Speaker, that is true. Well, President and okay, sorry, that's Mr. Speaker, that is true. I will admit that we have been a bit tardy on this matter, but actually it's an institutional problem. There is a co-mandate between MESTI and education, and under that law that which was brought to Parliament, one of us, either the minister for, in fact, the president should appoint one minister to have oversight responsibility for the fund. That has not been done. Me and the minister for education, who have this co-mandate for this, have written a letter, a joint letter, memo, not letter, a memo to the president about this very, very critical, very important step. So we are waiting, the outcome from the presidency. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity again. During institutional visitations by Environment, Science and Technology Committee to some of the research institutes, one of the issues that was seriously raised by the researchers is the policy that they will have to generate their own resources to complement their budget. That has to do with commercialization of research outcomes. This is a very serious problem that the research institutes are facing. They feel that their effort to carry out research is being diluted based on the reason that they will have to find other monies to complement their budget. They are not comfortable with the commercialization of the research. I want to know whether the minister has, during his interactions, heard from these researchers that they are not comfortable with the commercialization. And if indeed the minister has heard that, what steps is minister taking to make sure that the commercialization is decoupled from the research so that they can have focus on their research? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, this question is a bit loaded, and there are several aspects to it. I don't know. CSIR's mandate is to commercialize research. So there is an interface between industrialization and commercialization. In fact, they are not being to do basic sciences, basic research. They are to take what is possible. So no scientist in there can be against commercialization. Indeed, they have commercial centers. And I don't know whether the MP is referring to the idea that I've given directive that the commercial wing of the CSIR should be strengthened to the extent that the commercial wing, an entity, a single entity to coordinate all the commercial activities so that they get more resources, finance. And that is something that has gone from me. Today I had a meeting to them just now. And it seems to me that they are happy with that. So I'm very, very surprised that he seemed to imply that some of the researchers are not happy. Yes, you do pure research, but the research is applied research. And the CSIR, their whole mandate is geared towards industrial and commercial application of science, technology, and innovation. Research for its own sake lies within the domain of the universities and other agencies. As for if you are in CSR, you are doing research to help, apart from operational research, your research is applied and is geared towards commercialization. So maybe I don't understand this question.
Very well. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to know from the Honorable Minister, since if the question says, to ask the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, what measures are being put in place to stop the exodus of scientists from research institutes in the country? Honorable Minister, can you confirm whether there is exodus of research scientists from the research institute in the country? And if yes, do you have the data to support it?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Speaker, my understanding of the question is that there are exodus of research scientists from the country, not from CSI, but for the country. Then I share, if it's from the country to other countries, then it's not my mandate alone. In fact, the main mandate would then even be with other entities. But I believe that the question flowing from the first the question emanates from the idea of the salary disparity, so that there's exodus from CSR and institutes to local institutes like the universities. But be that as may, yes, there are exodus. I will not call it exodus, but the scientists invariably cross boundaries. So I don't know whether that can be designated as exodus.
Very well. On that note, we bring question time to a close. Honorable Minister responsible for Environment, Science and Innovation, on behalf of the House, we would like to thank you for attending upon the House to answer questions. You are hereby discharged. Yes, leadership any indication?
Speaker, I think we've done a lot of business today, and members are tired. So I move that this House be adjourned until tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the forenoon. I so move.
Yes, a motion has been moved for adjournment. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, once you have done so many referrals, committees will still have to meet, and because of that, I second the motion for adjournment.
Honorable members, there is a motion for adjournment, and the motion has been seconded. The question is, all those in favor that this House adjourn to tomorrow 10 o'clock in the forenoon, say aye. All those against, say no. I'll take the question again. Honorable members, all those in favor that the House adjourn to tomorrow 10 o'clock in the forenoon, say aye. All those against, say no. The noes you are just shouting, the ayes have it. The House is accordingly adjourned to tomorrow 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Honorable members, I thank you very, very much for your cooperation, and the House stands adjourned.